Paddy Broughton, Kialoa 2, another Hobart under the hull. How was it?
It was extraordinary, I have to say. It was like all the other Hobarts meshed into one. We had sublime running from the start. We got a really good start, and then great run down the coast of New South Wales. Bass Strait was windy but hairy, but from behind. And we got the new speed record for Kialoa with 2 reefs and a poled out jib.
What was the record? How many?
23 knots, which for a 45-ton boat is not bad. But as I said, poled out jib and 2 reefs in the main, which tells you how windy it was. And we were honking along, and then you get to the coast of Tasmania, and there's a bubble of high pressure which we missed and sailed into. Unfortunately, there was boats probably 3 miles south and 6 miles north, and then a whole bunch of us had got stuck in the same thing. And so you fight your way out of that, and then you get snotted by 40 knots on the nose. And so we had a staysail up and 2 reefs again, and were at one stage considering going to storm gear, but it actually wasn't that bad. But just heinous conditions. And then we got ourselves down to Tasman Light, turned the corner, coming across quite nicely, beating our way home, thinking, all right, we're on our way. And then, of course, another bubble of nothing as you get there. And then a cracking run up the Derwent. Absolutely wonderful. All the sails up, and you finish here in Hobart, which is the best reception in the world of any ocean race. And we've done a few, and here we are. Another Sydney Hobart race ticked off. Was it? Like I said, it was an amalgamation of all 3, all 4, all 5 that we've done on Kialoa.
How many crew have you got on board?
18 crew.
It must, in those conditions when they're changing that much, it must take quite a lot of crew, isn't it, with all this gear you've got to do the manoeuvres, the changes?
It absolutely does. The old style boats are very heavy and very powerful, and so the loads are massive, and so it takes 3 people to do what what a thumb could do on one of the modern boats by pushing a button, and it takes 10 people to get a jib down, because they're big overlapping jibs. So yes, the manpower or person power, because 2 girls on board as well, is critical to that kind of thing.
And what were there? I mean, there were big winds and so on. Was there much of a sea at any time?
There were some heinous seas, and the interesting thing about the seas was, yes, you get the rolling building sea as you got the 40 knots behind you, and they're getting bigger, but then you were getting another set coming in on one side, so occasionally that would flick your backside and you would be steering down a wave, and then suddenly you were steering the wrong way, the other side, and it's blowing 45 knots, and you're thinking, crikey, how am I going to get this back? We got here, nothing broken, so clearly we did.
Ludo Ingvall said many years ago, when we asked him what was the best of the Hobart, he said the beginning and the end, and and all the rest in between is just a mighty challenge. But this bit about the reception here, and we were talking to Tom Caneen of Sunrise, first Hobart, his own boat. Yeah. He said it's absolutely next level here, and it's so public, isn't it?
Yes. I've talked to a number of people about this. We've done Transpac race, which finishes in Honolulu. And you say, fantastic, finish in Honolulu. You walk 50 metres beyond the waterfront, and nobody even knows there's a race going on. We finished the Fastnet race in Plymouth. The taxi driver wouldn't know what you were talking about if you said the Fastnet race. Whereas you turn up in Hobart, and the whole town is here. In fact, more than the whole town. There are people come here to see the end of an ocean race. This reception, without question, is the best end of an ocean race.
Yeah, and if you're really trying to promote a race and so on, the level of public ability to just get alongside boat. We've been watching the guys, just people absolutely astonished by Comanche, and they're literally on it, on the edge of it. It's brilliant.
I love it, and I love the fact that there is this juxtaposition here, which I'm sure you guys will have seen, but you've got Comanche there, the winner of the race, whose stern is about half, the width of the stern is about half the length of our boat. And so Kialoa 2 in 1971 was the biggest boat that had ever done the Sydney Hobart race. People were elbowing each other aside to go and have a look at it. And there is the modern version of Kialoa, but 60 whatever it years apart. And an extraordinary divergence development in technology, but still doing the same race, still paying homage to the Sydney Hobart race.
That's a lovely note to finish on. Thanks so much, Paddy.
No worries, guys.
Great.
Nice to talk to you.
Thanks.